Welcome to Ohio Airgun Shooter. The UZI submachine gun by KWC, 4.5mm CO2 replica, and is made of a mixture of full metal and plastic parts. It comes in a very well illustrated box, which in my opinion is always a plus when buying air guns. I really like anything that comes in a nice box. That way when you're done with it, you can usually put it back in and store it nicely on a shelf. As you can see here by the sticker, I had to send it back to Evike for repairs due to the CO2 magazine was leaking as soon as you put a cartridge in. Kudos to them for the quick repair. Here it says it has hop up, but I don't believe the steel BB version here has any kind of hop up. I've yet to see any BB version of any gun that has it. If any of you know of any guns that shoot steel BBs that does have hop up, please let me know in the comments below. That's my repair work order, and then you get these little pamphlets. Product catalog, which I ripped here, thinking it was a booklet, and it's just a fold out. So many to choose from. Definitely can plan your next purchase of a KWC with this little catalog. Here, the instructions manual. A lot of good information in these, especially the do's and don'ts. Don't shoot yourself in the face. Always like that one. And then, of course, up here you have the don't shoot your friend or anybody in the back. And it comes in a plastic bag, packed nicely inside the box. Included is a small pack of sample BBs, and then of course the Allen key for tightening the CO2 cartridge, and you get an extra magazine plug, and then you get what this little thing here is. Come on out of the bag here. But here's your plug. And then this is the front sight adjustment tool. Or key. You just stick it on the top there and you twist whatever direction you need to go. And of course, the submachine gun itself. This, of course, being the actual mini UZI. The original UZI is much longer, much larger, but this is the mini UZI. Of course, the UZI platform is a very recognizable type of gun. You see it in a lot of movies, often used by the bad guys or the perps. Or, as in the James Bond movie Spectre, which I was just watching the other night, where the Daniel Craig version of James Bond was attempting to assassinate that one fella in Mexico City. He actually had one of these with a pretty advanced looking sight on it. So that's the only time I've ever seen any style of Uzi used or being used as any type of sniper weapon. The grip safety does work and must be applied before the trigger can be pulled. So the barrel and the top are all metal. The lower is plastic. The trigger guard plastic. Feels like the trigger itself is metal. The forearm is plastic. Has plastic grips. Here the rear sight is adjustable for windage. Here's the cocking bolt and slide. It's metal. Nice little warning here. Holding stock, full-size drop-out magazine, which you can see here just dropped out very easily by just bumping the release button. It has two different size peepholes, a small and a large, which you just flip one up for the other. Here again is that front sight adjustment key. Just twist down or up for which elevation you need. It does have these small ports on the side of the barrel. And the barrel is recessed. You can't see it very well here because of the lighting. But let me show you a little light down there. You can kind of see it's very nicely recessed. Like I said, it does have a full-size dropout magazine, which is very heavy. So when you insert it, make sure it's all the way seated, because if it's not and that thing falls out and lands on your foot, if you're not wearing any type of closed toe shoe, it will definitely hurt. I haven't done it yet with this magazine, but I have done it with other pistol magazines, which are smaller, and they still hurt. But yeah, when I first got this, when I first tried to install a CO2 cartridge, it just, when I tightened it, it just all blew out the top. I mean, just the very first time. So I had to send it in and have a e-bike repair it, which they did very quickly, promptly. So a big shout out to them in their repair department. The selector switch is very stiff, and it must be off safe in order for you to even cock the gun. As you can see here, with the selector switch on safe, the bolt won't even budge. It's just totally locked out. So you must have it either on semi or full auto in order to cock the gun. And once it is cocked, the bolt does remain open. It is a smooth bore barrel. I was trying to get you a look here with the light, but couldn't get enough light in there to see very well. I was attempting to try to decock it by holding back on the cocking bolt there, and while depressing the trigger. A lot of times you can decock a gun that way, but I was unable to do so on this. Anyhow, it's a very cool looking replica. Has really nice weight to it. So I'm excited to take it and do some shooting with it. The KWC UZI submachine gun 4.5mm CO2 replica. First, we're going to do some chrony testing. I'm going to use the Umarex brand 12 gram CO2 cartridges, and then some Umarex brand steel BBs. And we will test the speed using my X-Radar chronograph, which reads up to 698 feet per second. It also displays rate of fire, so we'll see if we can get a reading on that. And as always, I'll put a drop of Craftsman pellet gun oil on the tip of the CO2 cartridge. Most manufacturers recommend some kind of oil to be used, silicone or otherwise. I've been using the Craftsman pellet gun oil for years, and I've always liked it. I have several older model CO2 and multi-pump pneumatic air rifles, and it has really done a good job on keeping the seals nice and have never had any leaks. Magazine does hold 25 BBs. You must pull back and hold the follower back with your finger. There's no notch to lock it into place. And I do not believe there's any type of hole here that you can drop a BB in and to load it from the bottom. You have to take the BBs and load them through the top, either individually by finger, or if you have some kind of speed loader, you can just drop them in. I will be shooting indoors in a controlled environment, which is in my basement, and the indoor temperature is currently 71 degrees Fahrenheit. My indoor range is about 6.5, 7 yards.
Hey, you're gonna have to move, buddy. Charlie.
Of course, no animals were harmed in the making of this video. He did finally move, but we didn't need to do any distance shooting with this, to just do the measure the feet per second, the speed. It's kind of an awkward gun to hold. It just feels weird because the vertically up and down pistol grip on it. First shot came in at 338 feet per second. That was the first shot off a fresh CO2, and then the second dropped all the way down to 250, and then it seemed to level out in the mid 200s, as you can see here. Did a lot of up and down, a lot of different readings, but they all kind of stayed in the 260s, 250s. I mean, a lot of that depends on how fast you pull the trigger due to the CO2 cooling down the gun. But it seemed to maintain pretty good mid 200 feet per second range. But yeah, it did a lot of just 260, 240. So not sure exactly why. It has something to do with the valve, the blowback action, the cooling down of the CO2. A lot of different variables can give you different numbers. These BBs aren't weighed, so I'm not sure exactly what the weight of each one of them is. Selector switch to full auto. I'm going to attempt to do a rate of fire test using this X radar chronograph. I've never done this before, so I'm going to see how this goes. I assume this is 25 rounds per second. That was a complete mag dump. Next, we'll do some target testing, first in semi-auto, and then we'll do some again in full auto. Again, this target is set up in my basement. It's approximately 6.5, 7 yards away. That's about all I have distance-wise in my basement, which is probably not that bad of a distance for guns or a small air gun of this size. Especially, I do a lot of pistol shooting, so that range is, I feel, is sufficient. But it's going to warm up this weekend, so maybe I'll take it out Sunday and do some mini sniping at a longer distance, like I did with the P90. My aim here was just below the black circle. I was actually just resting the bottom of that circle on the very top of the front sight peg, and it seemed to be shooting pretty good. I haven't adjusted it, so I was just doing my own elevation. Next, we'll try some full auto. The target that I'm using, the backstop, is just a cardboard box with a bunch of balled up plastic shopping bags, which I find Work very well with stopping any type of small BBs, pellets on with your lower powered air guns. I will just be shooting in bursts instead of just doing a complete mag dump. Here I started my aim out very low, and then I just kind of worked my way up towards the center of the circle, which seemed to have pretty good results. Again, this will be in full auto with bursts. Right here, my aim was directly center mass with pretty good results using just short bursts. Shooting this air gun with the bursts instead of just complete mag dumps seemed to be a little bit more, I don't know, a pleasurable experience shooting the gun. Try some more semi-auto here. You can't tell from this camera view, but I was really enjoying this. Had a pretty good smile on my face. It's just a very fun gun to shoot. Overall, not too bad target wise. Again, this was only about 6.5, 7 yards. The only problems I had while shooting was with the grip safety. Again, in safe, the bolt is completely locked out as with the trigger. But when you are in either semi or full auto mode, you must have a very good amount of pressure on that grip safety. Otherwise, it will not allow you to squeeze the trigger. So there you have it. The KWC Mini UZI submachine gun. CO2 powered 4.5mm BB gun. It's a blast, and it's just very fun to shoot.